So without any further ado, let's introduce Russ.
Yeah, the more beef than the less bread. Quiet women get the best head. Rappers doing dope, went from trying to be like Hov, now they rather rock and roll and be like Led Zeppelin.
What's up, everybody? This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, man.
Let's ramble.
Yes, sir. Cool to hear those songs that people feel significant.
Yeah. Who said emergency? So cool. So cool. And you said in between, which is like shocking
Oh, really?
to me. Yeah. Just because that
Wow.
was when I won't like shit on my younger self, but God, I feel like I've been doing that for the past 4 days in interviews. It's just like, let me tell you how shitty this fucking guy is. No, it's funny. Like those songs, there wasn't anything deeper to them.
Yeah.
It was just like all surface level music. It's what I call, I'm not gonna say that. It wasn't all surface level music. That's bad. It was look around and tell me what your life is music. You know, like on a surface level.
Interesting.
Like, yeah, I don't know how to explain it, but
No, I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
yeah,
It's
it's because life back then, life when you're like not successful, life when there's no fame, money, whatever, everything in your life is relatable. You know, I always tell up and coming artists, I'm like, do not waste these moments. Like everything in your life is relatable. The Toyota you're driving, the like job you're working. It's like you can look around at your life and not have to dig deep and still be relatable. I can't do that anymore, you know? I can't just talk about my car like it's not that relatable anymore, you know? So you're forced to dig deeper the more successful you get.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Very profound. I actually
Sorry, can I add one more thing to that? Sorry.
You're good.
Because this is something I've thought about a lot. Is like if I rap about my Rolls Royce, right? Some people will be like, "Why are you rapping about your car or like something material?" It's like I've always rapped about my car. It's just that it used to be a Pathfinder. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always took pride in anything I had.
Yeah. As you should.
But it's like to that point, it's like, but the Rolls Royce is not relatable. But I'm not rapping about it to like hype up materialism. I'm excited I have it. And when I had the Nissan Pathfinder, that was cool.
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry for bogarting that.
Nah, go ahead. I wanted to start launch into this conversation actually by talking a little bit about your younger self, not maybe as far back as the Pathfinder.
That wasn't that far back, though.
Right.
It's like 2017.
Yes, it was. So, funny enough, I didn't say this to you. I don't think I brought it up, which I'm still not really sure why, but I didn't bring it up when I talked to you last December, but that actually wasn't the first time I interviewed you.
What?
Yeah.
How
So
did you not bring that up?
I have no idea. I actually don't know.
You felt bad that I didn't remember.
No, it wasn't even that.
It was one of those like, is he not going to say anything?
No,
I'm not
so
gonna say anything.
so let me explain. So it was a Zoom interview. Is sort of in the middle of that transition.
Face. I've seen your face before.
No,
What,
I don't
what do you
think
mean
so.
Zoom interview?
So the first time I interviewed was a Zoom interview. I think both of us kept our cameras off, so you hadn't seen my face. It was like,
move.
I know. Well, yeah, right. It's us before, right?
Yeah.
So,
When my Zoom was sketchy. Like, you need to see my house.
yeah, it was in 2021. I was still on like a bit of a journalism grind. It was actually a cover story for this smaller publication called Euphoria magazine. I don't know if you remember that interview or that story at all. It was April of 2021 when it was released, so we must have done it a little earlier that year. So again, like tail end of the pandemic stuff.
Okay.
Anyway, so I bring
I'm an asshole. I don't.
no.
I'm
That
just
is
trying to like. What did I wear?
absolutely not the reason I brought that up. Anyway, so the reason I brought it up is because actually at the end of that conversation, you said something that when I went back and read it, I thought was incredibly profound, especially with the journey that you've taken since that time. So I wanted to just read to you this thing that you said to me and get. No, it's good. It's good. and get your reaction to it and think about it in the context of like where you were at then, what you were thinking, and how you've grown since then. So I don't know if you heard the song they played you in for. I did that on purpose. It was Congrats Freestyle. And I asked you about a lyric from that song, which was, been addicted to the chaos since early on. And I was just asking for context from it, because it was like a little line that snuck out in the middle of the braggadocio in that song. And you said, the addicted to the chaos thing just resonated with me when I saw this psychologist post about it. I think that probably stems from seeing arguments in the house growing up a lot, all the time, then just moving around a lot, which was chaotic, then probably just my natural personality. Fuck, man. Why are all my interviews like a therapy session?
Wow. Profound.
Yeah. You know what bizarre quality I have? I could meet you for the first time like we are right now, and I'll literally talk to you like you're an old friend. I don't know why I've always been so comfortable with everyone. I remember when I was taking classes downtown, there was this homeless guy, and me and him used to just talk after class. If someone was walking by on the street and you saw us talking, you would have thought we knew each other for years. That's how I've always been with people. Sometimes I tend to overshare, I guess because of that, but I don't know, bro. I just don't give a fuck. I don't know what that says about me, but I'm looking for a therapist. I'll keep you posted.
Holy shit. Wow.
So yeah, given saying that then, remembering that then.
It's just, yeah. Wow. Clearly I was searching more than I realized. Yeah. Fuck, man. We had like a heart-to-heart and I didn't remember.
Yeah, but if you could talk about the sort of journey since then and the profound.
Could have sworn I took a shower. Yeah.
It's had since, you know.
It's funny because that answer is pre-therapy.
Yeah.
And I think I was sorry. I think I was trying to figure out, you know, more about myself, what was going on internally. And I guess I've always wanted help. I just didn't know how to ask for it, and I didn't trust it. And so my default setting, I would just end up falling back on like, nah, fuck it. I'll figure it out. Yeah. You know? And it's tough when your life, when your external life looks like everything you dreamed about. It's hard to feel like you need anyone, you know? Because I'd be like, damn, man, I feel fucked up. I feel like I'm struggling. But look at these plaques. So I can probably figure it out. You know, straight up. It's like, and that wasn't even a conscious thought. It was more like I didn't really act on going out proactively looking for help because I think I've been so conditioned to figure it out myself. And I think, and I've talked about this before, but I think as men especially, like, that is our MO, you know, is to like, you know, how far can you carry it and how alone can you carry it is like what makes you a man. That's like what we've been told. So
yeah. So obviously, you know, that moment of your life and then the journey that you took with your mental health that has brought you to now was really an interesting part about that quote for me. But something that I also thought was really interesting was you talking about your connection with people. And to me, that sort of outlines also one of your biggest superpowers when you are at your best as an artist, which is being able to, and we talked about this a little backstage, really have a conversation with people while you're, you know, rapping or singing, and not as with the guy on the street, you were sort of speaking to him and getting to know him, but another big thing is you speak through us. Wow. So I was actually wondering if there was a moment, either early on or even later, or both, where you had a specific aha moment where you realized in the song creation process that you were improving or doing that.
that I was improving or that I was like reaching that
That
level
you were
of
reaching that level of communication and connection.
No, I don't think I had that. I think I think where I'm at now mentally, I can confidently say that I think I've been desperately searching for community for mad long. And I think part of me was probably putting out music to find community, to feel amongst, you know? And I think that's why I like talking to my fans so much. And like why I'll jump in Discord or whatever, just because it's like, why not talk to them? They get it. You know what I mean? They have context. But yeah, I think I'm gonna bounce around a second. But like after I did the movie last year and I was on set with the same people 5 days a week, and I was in community with people who are all trying to do the same thing, and we're all like in this shared experience and going through the same thing and trying to figure stuff out. I like afterwards when we wrapped, I was like bawling my eyes out, sending voice memos to like the director and everyone, just like of like, yeah, I'm really big on voice memos. Um, but I was so overwhelmed with the emotion of how much I needed that, you know? And I didn't realize how insular and isolated my music career had been until I made that movie. And I was like, whoa, I am by myself. Like majority of my career, like yeah, when I come to LA, like I'm with my manager, I'm with, whoever, but like the music making career, it was really just me and Boogus for the longest time. And then it was really just me in the basement. And it's a lonely existence, even not just the like act of making music, but just the fact that you're the only one who knows what's going on. You're the only one driving the ship. It's my name, my career, it's like I'm like, damn man, how do I recreate that community aspect in my music making process, which is what led me to be open to collaboration on this album.
And Santiago too.
And
Yeah.
Santiago was doing it like without realizing I needed it. And I think it's funny how there's things that like I don't know, call it God, call it the universe, call it intuition, but there's things that I feel like I've done that I did it because it just felt right. And I didn't know that it was actually a smaller piece of something much bigger that I needed. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm going to have these 8 producers in my house because that just feels right. 2 years later, I'm realizing like, oh, I need community. Like it's yeah, I'm really proud of my story because I feel like it's very just real. It's you can do it yourself. You have what you need and you can get to a certain level. And that's real because most people don't have fucking help. Most people don't have industry resources and I didn't. So I had to figure out how to make the song and do all the shit. And it got really far. But the reality is that at some point you need community, you know? And it's okay. I've been very scared to even be open about needing community because I feel like sometimes I'm a prisoner of my own brand, you know? Like, oh, yeah, Mr. Do It Myself, you need friends? Fucking loser. You know what I mean? What happened, bro? Get back on your fuck everybody shit. I see those DMs. And why are you trying to make friends? Like, it's like, damn, dog. It's hard to make friends as an adult, bro. God, man. I don't even know, like, sorry, now I'm getting off tangent.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, you're
whatever.
good.
I need community.
Yes.
And I think like talking to the homeless guy or like talking to anyone who would listen is just where that comes from. It's because I genuinely have so much to share. I desperately want to connect with people. So I'll connect with anyone who's down to connect. You know? Yeah.
I think like to be transparent, my own journey with therapy has also like helped me realize the need for community as well. And I would like to bring it back really quickly to Santiago, that sort of first experience where you brought your music to a community. And we have a few things set up to play. I'd actually like to play a little bit of the I Love You Boy video real quick before we continue, which is another one of my favorite Russ songs. So let's lock in with that. it has a really interesting connection to sort of where you're at now. But I want to bring a little bit of our men's health conversation into this, which was really, I thought, eye-opening for me, which was your process of making that song and other songs on Santiago in general. So you don't have to talk about that one.
Yeah.
But even other ones of like being in a therapy session and then literally going straight into the music.
Yeah, so I do therapy in my studio. Just always felt right. Yeah, like so it's on Zoom, and I'm like, well, the safest place I feel in my house is the studio. So the mic is right next to me, while I'm doing therapy, and a lot of the I used to feel bad in the first couple therapy sessions. He would be talking, and I was like, I can't lie, bro. I'm kind of thinking of a song right now. You know, like, does that make me an asshole? And he was like, no, allow your creative side of you to come along on this journey. And I thought that was really powerful. And so I've learned that my creative side is there to sort of try to make sense of all the other sides. And so, yeah, so I Love You Boy was, you know, anyone who's done therapy, you do a lot of like getting to the root of shit and childhood stuff. And so it was a song where he was like, I want you to journal, or you could write a poem about it, or you could write lyrics, but write a letter, you talking to your younger self, your inner child. And so I just separated it into 3 verses. And the first verse on I Love You Boy is me talking to like toddler to fucking 7-year-old, that range. Second verse was me talking to like 21 to 26-year-old me, like the me that like first got in the industry. Then the third verse was kind of just me giving myself like a pat on the back, And it's been a profound experience, man, because Santiago, like, it was my excavation album. It was the album that had to get made. Even if I didn't put it out, it needed to get made for me because I had to get rid of all the gunk in order to like be creating from a clearer place. Because I had been ignoring all this shit for so long that it's like, I can't possibly make a song about something if it's not about this shit. Like, it would be so inauthentic to me, So I had to just empty the tank on all that. And, yeah, man, it's been beautiful. Someone just blowing my phone up. Man.
You're good, man. I'm glad that you
Group
mentioned
chats, bro.
You're good. I'm glad you mentioned the sort of need to get it out. And then I think like Wild like really emerges from that space. And before we get into that, which we will in just a second, I just wanted to know, because I really felt this sitting with Wild, which I've been lucky enough to do. Get ready.
Oh, that's right. Sent you the album.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
If I can give away a singular line on the album, you said, I see my therapist as my ghostwriter, which was very profound to me. And an interesting thing I feel like you can look back on. And when people think of ghostwriters, obviously they, boost whomever's ability to sort of expand their craft into different spheres, right? Yeah. So I was wondering if, since you have sort of had your journey with therapy, if you feel like it has specifically improved your ability as a musician in any way, like as a rapper or songwriter or producer.
Yeah. 100%. I think, how do I say this? I think, kind of to what I was saying at the beginning, I needed to start digging deeper. I think a lot of artists' music runs the risk of being redundant content-wise, And for me, if I don't go into therapy, what am I going to keep talking about? Seriously, it's like I really like had this conversation with myself, and this wasn't why I got into therapy, but like after being in therapy, I was reflecting, and I was like, wow, man, all of my come up music was about trying to achieve external success. Period, full stop. That's what the whole shit was about. Was I'm going to make it. I swear I'm going to make it. I always knew I was going to make it. I'm manifesting making it. That was the whole thing, right? Then I made it. So now what? Yeah. You know what I mean? That's why it's kind of funny when, like, I understand fans who are like, man, we want some more of that, like, 2015, it's like, it's impossible. It's impossible. That music was coming from a place of, I'm trying to make it, and now I've made it. So it started to feel inauthentic to me if and when I would get on the mic and start trying to conjure up these lyrics about like, and I'm still trying to make it just like further. I promise. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, bro. So naturally, what happens for me as an artist, after you, there was a couple paths I could have gone, right? After you make it as an artist and you've achieved your external life, you can either A, dig deeper and say, well, what I haven't achieved and what I haven't explored is my internal landscape. And you can dig deeper and do that. Or you can just keep being redundant, you know, or you can throw away your personal life and dedicate your life to being an artist. And what I mean by that is curate a lifestyle that's going to give you content. Meaning like, I'm not going to get a girl and evolve in my life. I'm going to stay single and do situationships because that's the music that my fans fell in love with. And even though I know I should grow the fuck up, I'm going to stay doing that because I'm scared that I won't make good music again or I won't be accepted by my fans if I grow up.
So I think that's a really good transition into talking about Wild.
Yeah.
Because, and we're going to play a song next in just a second. From Wild.
Which song?
I'm getting to it.
No. I don't know if we're doing that.
No, not unreleased.
Oh,
One
not
that you have
unreleased.
already
Oh.
released. Sorry.
Hold on. Who sent you?
No. But on Wild, and in context of songs that you've already released, there are still songs reminiscent of older Russ in the sort of like motivational come up, very ear pleasing grind. But because of the journey that you've been on, I find them to be even more compelling, layered, and interesting, which brings us to play the song that has connected with me a lot since you've released it, which is Movin'.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So if you could play some of that visual for me, boss man. Rotating in my head. But I'm going to do a little bit of and I'll do this a few times, my dissect sort of interpretation is the moment that sort of hit me the most in that song is like a tiny little moment right before you go into that first hook, which sort of like expands it. You have this one little bar of I'm just trying to act strong. And then you just go right into the hook, which makes it so much more interesting because you like give it to like, and you're also, and not to give too much away about the album, but you do something. I was wondering if this was intentional, but it feels like there's a lot of foreshadowing happening on the album. Specifically, you have a lot of the singles that are coming out are a lot on the first part of the album, much like Moving, very ear pleasing, very slaps, play them in the whip. But there's these little moments of revealed vulnerability that then get expanded on as you continue.
That was intentional. I see what you're saying now. Yeah, the songs I chose to put out, which I don't know if I've said this yet. I feel like I have in like yesterday or something, but I don't know. Ooh, how do I want to word this? I think part of me was moving and operating from a place of fear when I chose what songs to put out. And what I mean by that is I know the last album was Santiago, and it was a heavy therapy album. I think it's incredible. I think it's a masterpiece, all those things. I was scared that if I led with my favorite song off of Wild as the first single, which is like a heavier song called Trying, which is just like one of my favorite songs ever that I've made. I was like, if I drop this first, I know, or I was scared that people would be like, come on, dog. Like, we're still going through it? Like, How much you paying your therapist? Talk to me. Pay me. I could have you still sad too. Nah, but no, but it it was important to put out the music I did though, because I wanted to make it clear to people that the point of the album is to capture the robustness of my life. And Santiago needed to address the problems, right? And I did that. And that doesn't mean, and I'm so used to thinking very black and white, like, okay, problem's gone. Now let's be happy, you know? And what I learned and what the album is about is just the constant juggling act of grief and gratitude, you know, just holding them both in your hands at all times. And so it was important for me to almost lead with like the gratitude songs first. You know what I mean? While still knowing that moving has, but I'm trying to act strong. Hit melody, like just ignore it. You know what I mean? Because I needed people to understand that this album was gonna have my full picture of my life, which there are great moments. There's things that I'm so grateful for. You know, I'm grateful for my resilience. That's what moving is about. Moving is about like, and I don't mean this like by a lyric standpoint, maybe the hook, but just the energy of it, and it's about my resilience. That's what to me, that's my greatest attribute. Is that even when I was fucking just, you know, feeling awful, I tried my best to just keep it moving, you know. Made Santiago. But yeah, Wild is just, I tried to embody everything in my life, not just the problems, not just the good. Because I think a lot of times, really what it is navigating adulthood. That's what the album embodies, is this sort of like, oh, fuck. I thought that success, money, fame, adulthood, I thought it was going to be so much easier than this. Why is there still problems? It's always something, you know? Like somebody tweeted, like this was a big like driving force for like helping me make sense of my own feelings and shit. It's like this, I saw this tweet and it was like, adulthood could be summed up in 3 words. It's always something. And I was like, damn, man. God, it really is, you know? And so when I'm talking to my therapist and I'm realizing, this is, you know, a year ago, I'm realizing how much energy I have spent resisting life's natural flow. You know, like some shit will fuck up and I do, or I can see something's about to fuck up and I do everything in my power to like make it not fuck up, or like, you know, I get so pissed that there is a mistake, as if like it's the end of the fucking world, because how could there possibly be shit fucking up all the fucking time, you know? And there always is. And there's always great shit happening, you know? And it seems like obvious probably to some people, but for me, it's really tough to curate this life from this mindset of these self-help books that had me thinking that everything I thought was right, my mindset is going to get me everything, and then I blow up and I get everything I was telling people I was going to get, and now I'm like, oh my God, delusion confirmed. You know, I'm like, holy shit, I truly am right about everything, and if I was right about all this, I'm definitely right about that. You know, and so when shit started to go left, my parents getting a divorce or a bunch of hate coming in, I was like, huh? This was not in my journal. Like, how did this slip in? You know what I mean? And it really like, it just threatened my identity of who I thought I was. Like in a fucked up way, I thought I was God in a sense. You know what I mean? I thought what I say goes. Yeah, like I thought that I had control over my life. And to a certain degree, I do. But there are just naturally going to be things that don't go according to plan. And I was just strangling life, making sure that things went my way. And I was not leaving any room for the universe or God to like slip in and put their hands on my life, you know? And so this album, it's not a concept album where you have to play it in order from song 1 to whatever. It's a bit of a scattered album, intentionally, because that is life. You know, life is wild, it's unpredictable, it's unknown. And so you're going to get, you know, all kinds of shit on there, you know? That's what life is. And so to me, I guess in a sense it's sort of a coming of age album at 32. But I think, well, if we want to get deeper, because I sarcastically say 32, but it's a shame because there's no more initiation phases in life, in society anymore. I don't know if we talked about this. Yeah, it's like there used to be an initiation of boyhood to manhood, and it was very clear when you became a man. And a lot of like the older generation, they don't understand how young men are struggling with manhood. It's like, well, y'all had initiation, you know, or maybe you didn't either, but that explains a lot. But the lack of initiation, you know, villages or whatever it was used to take the boy away from the mom for 3 days, and they go out with the elders, and you're around older men that you trust, and they put you through hard shit, and you come out the other side, and you're a man now. And it was very clear. Now, you just kind of like, okay, am I a man now? Or like, what age does that happen? How much beard? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do I have to do to like check that box of being a man? What does it take? And I feel like nobody fucking knows. Nobody knows. And so you get a bunch of men who are floundering. They're trying to figure out how to be a man, what it means to be a man. They think they know, but then you get online and you see, you know, that being demonized, like just being a man. It's like, well, now I don't fucking know what to do. I don't know. Tell me how to be a man, internet. And it's like, good luck.
Right.
You know?
But I think, and sort of what you're getting at too, is that there's like a very difficult expectation of men that's, you know, very societal, that is this expectation to just persevere.
Yeah, get over it.
And
yeah,
I think that carries great into the next song that I want to play, which I literally wrote on that note card, is a very rounded view of perseverance and an advanced view of perseverance, which is Pent Up in a Penthouse.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I lose sleep from illuminating and fear-mongering about all the cheers stopping. Now my tears are just watering the roots of new love, pursuit of re-entry. I need some time with myself. I just met me.
Come on, man.
Can I do another dissect impression?
Yeah, please.
This is just me being a little bit of a music lyrics rap nerd.
Yeah.
Funny line in that first verse, which really I keep thinking about, is the ESPN Deportes line.
Slept on line.
But it's not the initial line itself. It's the tail that you put at the end, which is really sick. If you could, I'll let you, if you want to, do you want me to explain it or you want to explain it?
I want to see your explanation.
Okay. All right. So here's what I got. Here's my ESPN analyst breakdown. So basically, you watch the rap game and you think that, and I'm assuming that's what you're referring to as game, you think you don't really understand it, but if you sit there with it for a little bit and you watch it, slowly but surely you're like, you know what? I do understand some of this. But then similarly, and the parallel is, if you don't speak Spanish and you're watching a game on ESPN Deportes, you start watching it and you're like, I don't know what's going on here. They're screaming goal, but I don't know anything else is happening. But just from being, you know, American and, you know, learning Spanish probably in school or just living in LA, or you start to watch the game and you're like, you know what? I think I do understand some of this, and slowly but surely, and the parallel of those two with that tail, I thought it's not even a double entendre. I don't even know what it is, but it's like it's like you having the realization in the moment while you're rapping, but it's
Yeah.
representing the realization you had.
It was about not just the rap game, but the game I've been playing with myself. I didn't understand, and the game of life. Like I didn't understand what was going on, and I still don't. Which is why I was like, now I understand it a little.
Yeah.
And then the very next line, you be trying to rock the boat while I'm landing at Schiphol. Schiphol is just like the airport in Amsterdam, but I just thought it was clever because boat, ship. It's a really good line.
Talk your shit, Russ. Talk your shit, Russ.
That's so awesome. But that was me talking to myself. Is like, you're trying to rock the boat when I'm landing at Schiphol, meaning when I have some good shit going on, I sabotage it. You know? So me saying the ESPN Deportes, I didn't understand the game, ESPN Deportes, now I understand it a little, is like, I understand what I do. A little. I zoom in on the fuck up, or I sabotage and remove my own ability to appreciate my life by just zooming in on the fucking problem, or making the mistake feel bigger than it is, or whatever it's about. It's like not allowing myself to just feel the gratitude. And I don't have it fully figured out, which is why I just said I understand it a little. Yeah.
I want to talk also about just the visual element of that, because I mean I think it's fascinating, sort of listening to you really, rap, and it's almost like the rapping in the video is literally healing you in real time.
Yeah.
So can you talk about the idea behind that?
Yeah, so we mimicked the Santiago cover for the first shot. And I just wanted to slowly be healed via honesty. I think, there's like, what's that fucking quote? Something about just like keeping all that shit inside just rots your body and spirit from the inside out, And so by excavating and emptying the tank and by being honest, you heal yourself, And it's not a fully healed thing. That's why at the end, it's like I still have scars on my face. Like, younger me would have been like, yeah, I'm perfect now, But like a little bit older me is like, the scars are never going to go away, They're not supposed to. There is no life without scars, So.
Well, how have you been able to, because that's a very, I feel like it's really easy to sound healed in music once you've gone through a process. How do you go about, and I mean, this is obviously a very, tactful, craft-filled way that you do this on Wild. How do you go about almost not ever sounding too healed?
Yeah, well, because I have like humility now, to know that I don't know everything, So the more I learned about myself, the more I learned about life, the more I realized how much else there is out there for me to know. So I'm not ever going to try to come off like I got it all figured out. I got the answers. I'm healed. I know there is so much shit left for me to figure out, left for me to heal. There's rocks that haven't even gotten turned over yet. You know what I mean? And so it's really just, it's the humility to know I don't know everything. So I'm never going to, I don't plan on ever coming off like super healed. I don't know if that's real.
Can we talk about it? Obviously, we're not going to play it, but can we talk about one of the unreleased songs that just feels like such an extension of your sort of the advancement of
which one?
Which is my favorite song from the album, actually, which is "How'd You Do It?"
Oh,
which is like an incredible, actually expansion, I would argue, of "I Love You, Boy."
Yes.
It feels like the sort of next stage with a not just locked into the moment of that, but like a clearer headspace. And you've talked a lot about like the importance of gratitude, and it's like what's the process been like? And then always like how you've put it into the music of being grateful for that version of yourself that was like really, you know, grinding, persevering without this knowledge that you have now.
Yeah. Damn. I wrestle with my younger self a lot because sometimes it feels like he signed me up for a life that I didn't give consent to. You know, that's how separated I feel from him sometimes. It's like, he's like, damn, bro, you didn't even run this by me. You know? And that's even kind of what Pent Up in a Penthouse is reflecting on. I think, you know, for y'all, just to give y'all context, it's like to try to give a little insight into like my headspace. It really truly does feel, and I don't know what age it was. I don't know if it was 30, 31, prefrontal cord, who knows what the fuck it was, but at a certain point it felt like I woke up in this life, and I was like, how did I even get here, bro? Like, who put me in this shit? You know? And you know, body keeps the score, and there's all this like anxiety from getting beat by society and the culture and the internet, and just waking up, like being aware. It's like awareness, just waking up and feeling that for the first time. And so now it's like a lot of my work is not just acceptance, but also figuring out how to navigate what younger me gave me, you know, because when I was younger, I had this like immense desire to be seen and known and all that. And that's why there was no fear of more success. It was, I need everyone to see me. I need everyone to hear me. That was the energy. Because I didn't know the cons to that, because I was young. I thought it was only pros. You blow up, everyone sees you, you get money, mom gets a house, everyone's good. I didn't make a cons list. There was no cons. I didn't think. That's the naivety, right? Then going through it, it's like, damn, man, being perceived is like, it's a really crippling feeling to be perceived on a mega scale. It really triggers my need to be perfect. It makes it very hard to be myself. It makes it very hard to feel like authenticity is good enough, because there's far too many people watching, and I need to make sure that all of them like me. You know, the less people looking, I can handle that. But that's the internal conflict, which is, I don't want less success. That's a slap in the face to what younger me did. Well, he slapped me in the face, though, because he gave me this fucking, you know what I mean? But it's like, but more success feels scary, because what are the cons of that level? I know the cons of this one now, but I found out after the fact. What's the cons of that one? Because now I'm wise enough to know the next level of success also has cons. It would be so dumb if I was to be like, nah, that one's probably different. You know, so now it's just being aware that there are cons, and now still move forward. Press forward knowing that there's fucked up shit on the other side. That's resilience. That's bravery. That's what Wild's about. That's what the album trailer is about. The album trailer is, you know what? I know there's more cons. I know there's going to be some fucked up shit. There's going to be some more grief in my life by pressing forward and elevating and all that. But there's going to be some more good shit too. And so now I'm going forward regardless, because I refuse to be stagnant. That's what moving is about. That's the energy of that, is like, no matter what, I got to just keep fucking moving. But it's not, a lot of people think I had confidence when I was younger. I had omnipotence. I just thought I knew everything. That's not real confidence. the pillars of confidence are competence. You know, why does Steph Curry feel confident on a basketball court? Because he's competent in the skills. He's put in the work. You know, so for me now, I'm trying to one of the things I'm trying to do is give people true confidence that y'all can foster in yourselves, which is don't kid yourself. There is going to be fucked up shit out there. Go anyway. That's real. Like the dude who does that, that's real. I fuck with that. You know?
True fearlessness.
Yeah. Well, it's not even fearlessness. It's like, I am scared. I'm going anyway.
Yeah. Right.
You know?
Right.
The past, the younger me was, I'm not scared.
Yeah. Acknowledge.
It's like, that's not real.
Yeah.
It's not real. It's way more real to be like, yeah, I'm scared. And I'm going anyway.
Yeah. I don't even think there's a word for what that pursuit is.
It's just, to me, it's true bravery. It's true bravery. Is like...
Well, that's why you're the rapper and not me.
Nah, but it's like, I had to... it's an everyday thing, man. More success is more eyes. More eyes is more need to be perfect. Less room for mistakes. More need for approval. More people who maybe don't like me and all the shit. And maybe issues with my family and shit that I can't even see right now. You know what I mean? And I have to be aware of all of those things, all of that fine print I have to be aware of and still decide to move forward, you know? And it's scary because, like I said, I know that all that shit is out there. I know there's some shit out there that's going to break my heart and I can't even see it. And so to still move forward towards that direction anyway is crazy, you know? But there's some shit out there that's going to fucking change my life. Yeah. Like on a spiritual level, like fulfill me to a really deep degree, you know? And so I can't stay here. I got to dip.
Yeah. Just like pent up in a penthouse is a rounded view of perseverance. That's a rounded definition of bravery. Yeah. Can I ask a rap question, a rap inspiration question, actually, about how'd you do it? So,
Jesus, you asked about that song. I didn't even fucking answer that song.
No, you're good. No, let's just go.
Well, just to give y'all a little, because everyone's like, sick answer, bro. Anyway, I'll give y'all a little snip because I don't want to give away too much of the song, but it's the first time I gave my 23-year-old self true gratitude because it came from this therapy exercise that was just, it wasn't necessarily one of those write a song about this. It was a aha moment I had in therapy, which was he asked me, if you could ask your younger self that you wrestle with so much, if you could ask him anything, what would you ask him? And I was just thinking real clear-headed because we had done some breathing and all that. And the first thing that came out was, how'd you do it? You know? And so the first verse of that song is me giving him hella props and asking him, how'd you do it? You know? Just straight up. And then the second verse is him asking me, present day, you know, that's what that song is about, is get rid of all the resentment and bitterness you have towards your past self who maybe made a mess of things, and, you know, and what's stripped away is damn, bro, you knew even less than me. How'd you do it? How'd you do it? Juggling all that, bro. You knew fucking jack shit. How'd you do it, man? That's impressive. You know? Because most of my time is spent shaming. It's why'd you do it? Yeah. You know?
So interesting. Well, the rap inspiration question was, that's crazy that you said that. The rap inspiration question was literally what that song reminded me of was a complete, I don't even know what the word is for this, but a reforming maybe of Jadakiss's Why, because it's which is crazy that you said, yeah, because it is the repeated question thing over and over again And there's other rap versions. I can't think of any off the top of my head right now, but I've heard other rap songs that are like that, but they're not in any way. In rap, there's obviously like things that happen over and over again. People do a song where they're writing a letter, like Eminem and Stan, or they do a mama song. But this one was just such a reforming again of that idea of the repeated question, and then like flipping the perspective of it is real crazy.
Thank you. Yeah, both verses, just me asking like, how'd you do this? How'd you do that? Because it's just like I said, man, you strip away all the like anger and animosity you have for yourself, and you actually give yourself a chance to like appreciate what you've done. You're gonna ask, or you should ask, like, how'd you do that, man? Like, you know. So it was I love that song so much, man.
Yeah. No, it's really, really.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, there's heavy shit on the album.
Yeah.
You know, that's just not the full scope of my life, though.
No.
You know,
well,
and
even
that's
that
what
song
I'm working
is
on.
Very positive.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it is, and it was just important for me this go around. That's why to me, and obviously I'm biased, but still, my word means something. It's my favorite album I've made because I finally made the album that like encompasses my whole life in a really authentic way. This is the most authentic I've felt with my writing, and I didn't think that I was going to be able to make an album that had moments of depth that Santiago did without having to do the whole thing. That I didn't know I could weave in the good times and the gratitude and the motivation and the self-acknowledgement and the self-praise with I'm worried about my mom, or, like I'm sad about, I can't be everyone's savior anymore, whatever the fuck, there's really heavy, it's the heaviest shit I've ever written is on this album. But it's like some of the most pat yourself on the back moments are on this album.
Literally, my next question was going to be, how do you balance and navigate those songs specifically? First of all, how do you negotiate with yourself and balance like how much to reveal about? Because this song, Santiago, is so much about looking inside. This one really analyzes the relationships in your life to a whole new level of vulnerability. But then also, like you were just talking about, through all of those songs that do that, the reasoning behind a lot of it is because you have, found yourself more, and you are grateful for the person that you've become, and you have to acknowledge and salute that. So you can't maintain the relationships as they've been existing for this extended period of time. So yeah, from a music perspective, I thought it was a lot of craft to be able to figure out how to do it.
Man. I mean, for me, I always just reference this Kendrick Lamar interview he did with Rick Rubin. And Rick Rubin asked him, do you ever regret, like, telling too much or saying too much? And Kendrick said, no, I regret not going deeper.
Right. That was pre-Mr. Morale, right?
Yeah. And so, like, I always think about that now where I'm like, should I talk about? And it's like, yeah, because I feel the same way. Whenever I put out songs or albums, I'm like, I could have gone way deeper on that one. Yeah. Like Fraud off Santiago. Yeah. I could have gone way deeper. But I was still like, like, ooh, fuck. That's scary. No thanks. I'll like coast at a nice cruising altitude. Like, it's deep enough. They'll get it. I'm sad. All right. You know what I mean? So, yeah. I think on this album, I was just like, fuck it.
Yeah. I mean, fuck it, but so intentionally.
Yeah.
They're cueing me for the audience Q&A. I'm gonna just close with one last one that I think is pretty essential because we're in this environment. Sure. And you've talked about, and it sort of sums up your journey with the way that you value different things, which comes off the last question. We're in the Grammy Museum. With your, mental health and just self journey with yourself. And I believe at the end of Santiago, even you talk about, wanting to know what the feeling of saying a Grammy speech is, and that came through a therapeutic experience, but it's a complicated one. So sitting on this stage, how do you feel about things of that stature now? How do you navigate?
Yeah, it would be awesome to win a Grammy, but I'm not going to make an enemy out of it. And I think in the past, that's what I've done is I have a goal, and if I don't get it, it's an enemy now, And it's like, that's just because you're doing it for all the wrong reasons. I just think it would be awesome, It'd be cool. But I'm not like, I don't need it anymore. I don't need it to like feel like I've impacted people or feel like I'm good enough or feel like I've done enough. It would just be sick because how is winning a Grammy not sick? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so let's open it up to the audience.
Q&A time, ladies and gents. Oh, we're turning the lights on. We got to get out of here.
Yeah. What up? Oh, hello everyone.
Let's keep them dim, please. You're ruining the vibe, the mood.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Karanya. Hello. And my question is, how do you feel about submission? And what are some ways that you feel like you submitted in life? And how have those ways grown you as a person? Oh, and I also just want to add.
Yes.
I've been to a couple of things, but I wasn't able to get to a few things that you did some signings for.
Yeah. More signings? Oh, I just signed like 18,000 things. My hand is done. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, my hand is done. I can't lie to you. As far as the submission, yeah, there was a really big part of therapy about surrendering. And kind of goes to what I was talking about at the beginning where, like, I still struggle with it, but essentially surrendering to the idea that maybe there's value in the reroute. Maybe I'm trying to go this way and I swear this is the right way. And if it doesn't go this way, if I start to see it go this way, I'm going to be pissed and try and like, no, let me grab the wheel. It's like allowing room in my life for God, the universe, to put his hand on the wheel and say, just trust me. We're going to go a little bit over here, And that surrendering is hard for me because I do not trust anyone more than I trust myself. But that's like ridiculous because on a emotional level, I don't trust myself. Like I'm just learning now how to self-regulate and make myself feel okay, And so it's bizarre. It's like I don't trust anyone but me to get me what I want in life, including God. But I don't trust anyone and have just accepted that I will never feel okay. You know what I mean? Pent up in a penthouse. Yeah, so it's tough. It's an everyday struggle, That's something very, very new for me is the surrendering to things going differently than I planned it and them working out for the better,
There's a lot of great surrendering songs at the end.
I think that's why I was never that surprised and I was never able to really feel my accomplishments because I had planned them. It's like what we talked about in therapy is imagine writing a Christmas list. I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. I'm going to get this. Well, when you get it, it's like, okay. Everyone was like, yo, like I remember doing interviews early on, like, did you know you were going to make what? Yeah. Like, that's why this isn't doing it for me. Because I knew I was going to get this gift, And the greatest things in my life are like when you get some great shit and you didn't expect it. And that's God, When I woke up and Rihanna posted Best on Earth, I didn't plan for that. That didn't even make it to the Christmas list. I didn't know that was possible, you know? And in those moments, I should have recognized I gotta chill. Cause like whoever is pulling the strings is like they got some cool shit. Like I could have swore I just wanted these gifts. Like they pulled up with Rihanna. Like what? It's crazy. So yeah, I'm working on it every day.
I have two questions. Well, first thing, I think it's incredible that you started, way back and dropped the bar a really long time ago. And then at the end, you say, I'm going to call you for the Grammys. Sacramento, really long time ago, like 2016, you're like, I'm not calling it from the Grammys.
Yeah, good.
And just to be here with you at the Grammy Museum, blessings on blessings.
Wow, yeah, thank you.
What was your inspiration to make Santiago the way you did with the transitions between songs so seamlessly? Because it's almost
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, shout out to Aaron Paris who did that. He scored the trailer too, but I just wanted that album to play continuously, and I wanted it to feel like you were constantly, I don't know, just floating through each chapter. You know what I mean? And so I didn't want the songs to just end, next, end. It's too rigid. Everything about Santiago was supposed to feel smooth and like the wind, because that's like from The Alchemist and how important the wind is. So I wanted the album to feel like the wind. So the transitions with the flutes and the strings, it just felt like the wind to me. Yeah. Thank you.
How about back there? And I believe it's a white shirt all the way in the back.
Good eyes.
2020, baby.
To go back to when you drop the song every week. I've been a fan for a really, really long time. There's a lot of social media now, so we have a greater connection with you because we understand that part of you.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite song from that time was Manifest.
Mm-hmm.
And I really want to kind of go and ask you about your psyche behind that and like how you came to the idea of, hey, I'm going to drop a song every week and see how many listeners I can get, and like what kind of propelled you and like.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. Want to know the hot take? I hate to burst anyone's bubble, but I kind of had this realization, and I think it was I think the answer to what I'm about to say is it's a combination of both. There was a while that I thought the reason why I blew up and became successful was strictly because of my mindset and the books I read. And then I realized maybe it was because you were a little bit talented too.
Yeah, no shit.
Because there's a lot of people who have read these books. And and so the mindset, the reason why I bring that up is because the mindset behind, well, first the song a week was I had done 11 projects, nothing worked, and I was just looking at SoundCloud and noticing people's first song had the most plays, and then it went down from there. So I was like, all right, well, people are down to hear one song, so I'll just do one song a week until that pops off. And I made sure I had 26 songs that I was sitting on so I could do half a year straight, and I made sure I had an album I was sitting on so that I could be prepared for the moment of blowing up. 'Cause so many artists, like, they just act like they weren't even trying to blow up. Like, did you not think it was going to happen? Why were you doing it? You blow up, and then it's like you scramble, and you're trying to make your debut album, and, like, then you lose momentum, and no one gives a fuck anymore. So that was the mindset. And then with Manifest, why I brought that up is because, yes, it's a combination. It's some of the mindset is why I was able to get what I got. Positive thinking is not negative thinking. It's good. But I was making great fucking music and putting it out so consistently. And I caught the internet at a good time when you didn't have to spend money on marketing because Twitter and all these algorithms and shit back then, I don't think they had figured out yet that, like, we should just not show it to their followers. I think that's good. Like, make them pay. Like, I remember, like, anyone who's just, like, on social media like that, like, certain things just won't get engagement. Like, if you post a link on Twitter. Like, it's not gonna do well, right? Back then, I was like, fuck posting Spotify, whatever. I was posting a SoundCloud link to drop a song. It would get 20,000 retweets. A SoundCloud link. You know what I mean? It's like, and how I know it's all just like fuckery is because now I'll post something, it'll get 100 retweets, but the shows are 10 times the size and the streams are more. So it's like, oh, this is just like, the internet is just not what it used to be. But so I say that to say, like, the mindset behind Manifest at that time was, wow, I read these books. They said if I think like this, my dreams will come true. My dreams came true. It's probably because I thought like this, you know? And I think, you know what? This is where I got to give my younger self, wow, I've never done this before. Well, like with this component. I got to give him some grace and some credit. He didn't know how else to conjure up belief. You know? He didn't have a fucking mentor. So guess what, bro? If these fucking books are going to make me believe in myself, leave me the fuck alone. I need it, you know? And so I respect my younger self for that because those books were my artillery. And I don't and I truly think that without them, I don't think I would have made it, now that I think about it, because the books are what gave me the confidence and the hope that shit was going to work. It was almost like I really didn't believe in the music like that. I believed in my mindset more. I believed in the books more. It's like, I think the music is good, but I fucking read Napoleon Hill. Surely this is going to work. You know? Like, I have access to this, like, secret part of the universe that, like, people don't have access to. Like, I'm in on a cheat code. But I get it. There was no reason for me to think that anything was going to happen in my life outside of those books telling me, hey, man, if you have definite aim, and a lot of it is good shit, you know, you got definite aim, you're persistent, you know what you're going after, good things will happen, you know? But yeah, I mean, it's just an interesting, like, relationship I have with that kind of music. It's fluffy to me. It's fluffy. It's fluffy. I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful and it makes you feel better about your situation. Paulo Coelho, The Alchemist, Seven Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra, and Magic Ladder to Success by Napoleon Hill. Those are the 3 books I read at like 18, and then I didn't read a book again until I was like 25. For real. Like that, I thought that was it. I figured out life, and you couldn't tell me different because look at my life. That's what, like, it was just like a recipe for like omnipotence. I read these books. My life became exactly what I told everyone it was going to become. I know everything. There's nothing left for me to learn, to the point where I can write a book. That was why I wrote the first book. That the energy behind the first book was, I figured it all out. Yeah. You guys want to know? All right, I'll tell you. It's all in your head. It's a good book, but I'm just saying, it's like.
I think we have time for one more question. I saw you right there, very eager. Third row.
My name's Amber.
Hello.
Hi. So I kind of have 2 questions.
Sure.
One is kind of like a fun question. So in goodbye, you do say like, I'll call you when I get a Grammy.
Yeah.
My question is, would you call that person still?
Awesome.
Like,
And that's all the time.
it's just me and my homegirl. We talk about that a lot, so you know.
Yeah. No.
And then number 2 is like, what would your advice be for somebody who's kind of just going through it, like mentally, emotionally, you know, like what kind of advice would you give to somebody, like?
I think find community for sure. I think trying to do this shit by yourself is like how you can just start to spiral real quick. You know, I think we all have a deep desire to be known. And when we feel like nobody truly knows us in our life, it's a very hollow experience and a very empty, lonely experience. And not saying that fixes your problems, but it's easier to carry when there's someone helping you carry the shit, you know? Um, yeah, because I'm not, this is what I'm saying. It's like 25-year-old me who wrote that book would have been like, it's all in your head. Like, just believe in yourself and, like, you'll be okay. Like, get over it, you know? And it's like, I don't know. This shit is hard. It's like, get community for sure. Get people that you trust that are not going to judge you. Reach out. It's hard to reach out to people and ask for help, but you need it, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, can't end it on a better note than that. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.